Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Ethereum as it appears set to target new all-time highs. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. Link is in the description below where you can follow along more closely. Ethereum continues to show strength. And again, this shows you the power of Ethereum after it goes home. And one of the things that I think is the most likely outcome right now is I could be wrong, right? But I think that Ethereum is targeting new all-time highs or a run of the prior all-time highs before we see a pullback in September. All right. So for me, that is my base case right now. I think the strength that Ethereum is exhibiting right now in the short term will last about 2 more weeks. And then I think there will be a pullback in September before hopefully another move up. So the path could look something like this, where it runs the highs, pulls back, and then goes about mid-September and then runs back up again, maybe then a higher low, and then break through. That is what I think makes sense. This would coincide with a pullback by Bitcoin in September as well. If you look at monthly returns for Bitcoin, you can see that in July and August of all post-halving years, it tends to be green, and then in September it is red, right? So 2013, green, green, red. 2017, again, green, green, red for July, August, September. 2021, green, green, red, and then of course 2025, green, green. We'll see if August ends up being green for Bitcoin. It seems like it likely will be, but who knows, right? Markets can do crazy things. If Bitcoin, if this monthly return table can come in and come through in the clutch here and be predictive, then and August ends up being green, then I think you likely will get that pullback in September, which could correspond to Ethereum finding some resistance off of its prior all-time highs. So I kind of think that is the most likely outcome right now. Just continued strength for a couple more weeks, followed by a pullback. And one of the reasons for that, I mean, again, like everyone wants the narrative, like, well, why is there going to be a pullback in September, guys? I don't know. I mean, you can assign whatever narrative you want to, but just looking at Bitcoin, in every post-halving year, there is a pullback that starts around late August, early September, right? That was 2021. 2017, again, you see the pullback started late August, early September into that bull market support band. And then 2013, you'll see there was a pullback that started that last week of August, and it ultimately hit that 20-week SMA by the end of September, early October. So to me, it just seems like that's the most likely outcome here. The market generally will likely stay risk on for a couple more weeks. Seems fair, seems reasonable. Get a September pullback by Bitcoin to its bull market support band. That'll likely correspond to Ethereum finding some resistance around the prior all-time highs, go down, regroup, and then hopefully get another move up. But again, that is the way the cycle will ultimately likely end for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, is you get the move up in July and August, and then the September pullback into the market cycle top before the bear market, right? Same thing in the 2017 cycle, right? Up in July and August, September pullback up into the market cycle top, and then bear market. Same thing in 2021. Up in July and August, September pullback up into the market cycle top, and then bear market. And then so again, it's the same thing, right? Up in July and August, likely going to see a September pullback into the bull market support band, and then a run up into the market cycle top, wherever that might be. And then from there, you likely see a bear market, right? You likely get your 2026 bear market. And so the thing to watch for with Ethereum is whenever that Bitcoin gets this pullback into that September low, that's likely going to, in my opinion, to likely correspond to Ethereum finding some resistance around the prior all-time high. Now, let me be clear. That doesn't mean that Ethereum can't break the all-time high. It could, right? It absolutely could wick above the all-time high before getting a pullback. There's a chance it doesn't even break the all-time high. If it wicks too far above the all-time high, then it might make me a little uncomfortable, a little bit more uncomfortable in the September pullback. But as long as it does something like this, then I think it's doing what it needs to do, right? And a lot of people keep fading Ethereum here because they're so used to it getting rejected. And what they've missed is that all these other times that it tried to break 4K, it had not yet gone home. But now everything has changed, right? It went where it needed to go. And now look at the strength of Ethereum. And a lot of people keep saying, well, why are altcoins struggling so much? The reason is because this is not alt season, right? This is Ethereum season. And you can see that alts are now down 51% against Ethereum since Ethereum went home in April of 2025. Now, I do think there's going to be some type of mean reversion by alt-ETH pairs within the next couple of weeks or so. But I also believe that the next big rotation, there might be a brief rotation to alts that I think is going to be fake. I think the next real rotation will be back to Bitcoin in the September and October timeframe. So, I'm not saying that alts can't go up against Bitcoin. In the short term, they likely will, because as long as ETH is going up against Bitcoin, so too will alts. But the inevitable outcome that I see for alts is that they'll go to the range lows probably by, late October, early November at the absolute latest. So I've said many times, I think the strength by alt Bitcoin pairs will likely subside by late August. That gives altcoins about 2 more weeks to show strength against Bitcoin. So about 2 more weeks. And it also gives Ethereum potentially about 2 more weeks to hopefully run the prior all-time highs before a September pullback. That is my assessment of the market. Again, it's just dubious speculation. That's what the shirt says anyways, right? It's dubious speculation. That's what I think is going on with the market. Watch for Ethereum to surge to new all-time highs. Watch, or around all-time highs. Watch for a September pullback. And then hopefully one last move after that to sort of end the market cycle. That's what I'm thinking. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. And again, check out the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. We have the risk levels for Ethereum, which hopefully will help to identify the actual market cycle top. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.